So on this channel, you've probably seen that I talk quite a bit about Gacha Revenue. And one topic that I've been talking about recently is Zenless Zone Zero. Zenless Zone Zero has been absolutely killing it, especially in the revenue, and they've just been doing super good overall. But in this video, we're going to be talking about Wuthering Waves and their revenue, as we've recently got some new data over from AppMagic. As you know, AppMagic is a database that I use quite often, and honestly, the results are kind of surprising. But before I get into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and also go over to Gamersubs and use my code KAZA, where they've got a ton of tubs, cups, and even more, which I think you guys would really like. But let's get back into the video. So we got this article from pocketgamer.biz. Obviously, I've used this news site in the past for the Zenless Zone Zero data as well, and what they say is Wuthering Waves sales passed $100 million in under 2 months, which is just insane. I mean, $100 million is super good, especially for a gacha game. But what surprised me most is, according to AppMagic data, players in Japan have contributed to 23% of its mobile earnings thus far, which again is super surprising, as we've seen a lot with Japan and Wuthering Waves. I mean, Wuthering Waves had that big mistranslation issue with the weapon, where they pretty much got a ton of the details wrong about the weapon in Japanese, so they translated it wrong, and tons of people pulled on the weapon thinking it was one thing when it was actually another. So again, a lot of people in Japan weren't happy about that, and they also had a ton of other issues too, which they just weren't happy with. But it seems like Wuthering Waves have actually picked up a lot of the advertising in Japan, and they've actually been trying to kind of like make it up to them, which is good to see, and you can definitely see it with this revenue. But if we keep reading this article, it says Kuro Games action RPG Wuthering Waves has surpassed 100 million in mobile revenue across Apple's App Store and then the Google Play Store, according to AppMagic estimates. Now, obviously, there is a big point that people bring up in a lot of this revenue stuff, is that Google Play isn't very big in China overall. So again, take this like information with a grain of salt, obviously, because if they're getting information from Google Play, they're not getting information from other Android stores, which may be more popular in China. I don't know which ones those are, but again, there are some other ones. So this revenue could be even higher than it already is. But what it says is this major milestone has been achieved in under 2 months since the game's official launch on May 22nd, 2024. With a fairly even revenue split across its biggest regions. So far, Wuthering Waves has found its most financial success in Japan, accounting for 23% of its mobile earnings, which, again, that is the most out of everyone. Let's just think back at the start of the game. As I said, they weren't very popular in Japan because they were messing up a ton, they were mistranslating things, and overall they were treating the Japanese community quite badly. But I think Wuthering Waves have actually turned this around, and Kuro Games have definitely like focused in on Japan whenever it comes to advertising. I mean, they had the whole thing with the Cheng Li advertising. They actually advertised her character and her like ultimate abilities on a billboard in Japan before even any of us online saw it, which was quite surprising to see. So again, it seems like Wuthering Waves are definitely targeting Japan quite a bit, but in close second we also have China, which is to be expected with 22% of its mobile revenue, which again is super great, and yeah, and it's something that we usually see. But the most surprising thing here is that this is the revenue. Usually China tends to be so much higher on the revenue and maybe a bit lower on the downloads, but Japan has actually outspent China in this one, which is super surprising, and it'll be definitely interesting to see how this develops over time. And we've also got South Korea, which has 17%, and the US, who also has 17%, which is super great, as it seems like Wuthering Waves has been a big hit, especially in the West. And apparently Wuthering Waves has actually been off to a super strong start, as it's been the second most downloaded game of the month in the US and Japan, which was only outmatched by Supercell's Squad Busters, which is a very popular game and has been advertising on a ton of massive channels on YouTube. So again, you can kind of see why that was a top game. But Wuthering Waves being second is absolutely amazing to see, especially in the US. And it also says that 7.4 million Wuthering Waves mobile downloads occurred between May 22nd and May 31st, which has now gone up to 11.5 million downloads on the App Store and the Play Store right now. And among them, 23% have come from China, 14% from the US, and 7% from Japan. So that is actually extremely like confusing to see. As you saw the Zenless Zone Zero revenue, China was actually lower on the player count and higher on the revenue, but it seems like Japan is actually higher on the revenue and lower on the player count. There's only 7% of them that have actually downloaded the game, but they take up almost a quarter of the revenue, which is absolutely insane to see. And it seems like there is a lot of heavy spenders and whales in the Japanese community, which again is super good to see for Wuthering Waves. And obviously China is such a massive country, so of course there's going to be so many people downloading the game over there, and also the game was made in China, so it's going to be super popular. And obviously the US being at 14% is great as well, because, you know, that's double the amount in Japan. So again, it's super popular in the West. A lot of people were saying that, you know, Wuthering Waves wasn't doing too good in the West, but this is definitely proof that it is. And then they provide us with this chart of the global mobile revenue for Wuthering Waves, and this is pretty much goes in spikes. So as you can tell, this is whenever the banners like go up and whenever stuff happens, people start pulling and then it slowly goes down. But of course, we're going to be seeing Cheng Li soon, so hopefully this will go back up again like it has in previous times, and maybe it will even go higher than any of these because, again, Chun-Li will be a pretty big banner. And obviously, it'll be super interesting to see how this compares to the revenue chart. If we think they're on 100 million right now, and we go to the revenue chart, it says 29 million and also 16.5 million, which puts us around $45 million. So based off of this information, I'm pretty sure Wuthering Waves will definitely be in the green again, and that we'll see either the Chinese or the global version go up in revenue because they've made more revenue than last time. I think they'll be at 65 million altogether, which again, is super great, and we've still got pretty much half of the month still to go, so it'll be super exciting to see how this compares to last month. And yeah, it's definitely looking very, very good for Wuthering Waves, but it's also looking good for Zenless Zone Zero as well. If you want to know how the two are comparing, I think both of them are just doing good in general. And obviously, it'll be the first time we see Zenless Zone Zero on the revenue chart next month. So again, I'm super excited to see where that actually comes up on the chart. Will it be Genshin Impact maybe? Will it be up in this kind of top 5 area? Which I think it probably will. I think Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves will both be up in this top kind of area. And yeah, I'm just super excited to see how this kind of plays out and see who can kind of finish on top. Now, I definitely think the Honkai Star is going to, still stay on top. I think Honkai Star is going to be the new game that stays on top. Obviously, in the past, it was Genshin Impact. I think Genshin Impact has had its time now, and that is going to slowly fall off, especially with a lot of the boycott stuff that's happening and a lot of people angry at the game. Now, it will probably spike up a bit with Natlan, which we will see. But again, Natlan still has a little bit of time to go, and Honkai Star is consistently bringing out updates that are super good and, sticking around 60 million whenever they don't even have, massive quests out at the moment or anything like that. They're literally sustaining this by releasing new characters and really, really good new events. So again, it's super nice to see from Honkai Star as well, and it will be interesting to see how Zenless Zone Zero does compared to that, and also how Wuthering Waves does compared to that. Now, I think Zenless Zone Zero will probably come out on top of Wuthering Waves just because it's a Hoyoverse game. There's going to be a lot more people invested in the game. So hopefully in the coming months, Wuthering Waves will step up a lot of their quests, a lot of their characters, and a lot of their events to kind of combat this and maybe get ahead of them in future revenue charts. But I just thought this was a super interesting bit of information that I thought I'd share with you guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do you think Wuthering Waves will finish, quite high on the revenue chart, or do you think it's going to drop? Obviously, this is a very good sign for it, making 100 million in under 2 months. And obviously, it's really good to see that the US and Japan have been contributing to this game as much as China have been. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. If you did enjoy it, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And also go over to GamerSubs, as I said, use my code Kaza. I'd definitely go check out a lot of their stuff. And the link will be down below where you can get yourself 10% off pretty much everything. And yeah, that's about all I got for this video. So I will see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.